Hi, I'm Alex Lightman, and this is the Energy for Good podcast, where we provide news and views you can use to help build a world with clean energy. Today, my guest is Robert Jacobson, who's an entrepreneur and the former manager for the Space Angels Network, and the founder of the 62 Mile High Club and other ventures that are meant to promote space and clean energy. Today is Robert's birthday, and I wanted to ask him, because he's asked me in the past what I wanted. What do you want for your birthday?
Thank you, Alex. Great to be here. I'm really excited to participate in this new series. For my birthday this year, I'm interested in a reduction of fossil fuel use, more solar energy, and more transparency and legitimacy in our government.
Okay, so you want less fossil fuel use, more solar, and more legitimate government.
Correct.
How are we going to have less use of fossil fuels? What does it take to do that? What are the best ways of achieving that? How do we get your birthday wish to come true?
I think electrification of our transportation system is a great way. I think augmenting our homes and businesses with use of solar and having access, whether we're on the grid or we're not on the grid, but having more access to various solar, the different solar technologies, whether it's better batteries or using something, whether it's as easy as heating your pool, but I think just starting somewhere is a great catalyst for being a cleaner citizen.
Okay, and you wish for more solar. Now, solar is doubling almost every 2 years or so. We've just hit a milestone. We now get more than 1% of our electricity from solar. So it looks like we only have 7 more doublings. 2%, 4%, 8%, 16, 32, 64, and then we're over 100% of our electricity from solar, and we're starting to make deep bites into the total energy market. So what is it that we can do to accelerate solar, or is solar growing fast enough? Like, you wished for this, so what is it that you want to have differently than the world we have now, where solar is getting more desirable, but it's at 1%?
Well, the current energy companies can invest heavily in innovation that will benefit mainstream and not just a small group of individuals or corporate resources. People can invest or divest of their portfolios so that they can make a conscious decision on what they wish to support.
Great. So how would it work? What should somebody invest in today to make a solar future happen? Does investing in a publicly traded solar company like SolarCity accelerate the adoption of solar, or is there another way that you prefer people do it?
I think it all depends on what your personal resources are and your investment requirements, but the stock market is still a great way. If you have a mutual fund, you can find, I think there are funds available where you can invest in things that are green related, whether it's a SolarCity or another energy related company. Also, people can buy products that, whether if they're maybe to support their own hobby. I enjoy camping, and I have a small solar cell that's used to power up some batteries, and it's got a USB plugs. So I think it doesn't matter whether you're starting with something small, a very small tactical level, or looking something big for your retirement portfolio. I think that they're all valid. So
we're in the city of Santa Monica right now. What can Santa Monica do to implement more solar, or is the city already doing enough?
I don't know if Santa Monica is doing quite enough. I would love to see more electric charging stations. Right now we just have a handful. They're all used pretty much all the time.
Okay.
I mean, maybe this is a business opportunity.
You have an electric vehicle yourself?
We do. In our family, we have a Chevy Volt,
okay,
and we love it. I could see something where at every metered space in the city, you could also have a charging station that might be sponsored. That might be something. It would be great to see every rooftop of all the multifamily and commercial buildings have solar, or potentially maybe there could be some type of credit created where they could use solar films, the new solar films that are coming out, where you could print them on the windows, so that you could have even more coverage rather than just the two-dimensional rooftop space on top of the building.
I totally agree. So California is installing more solar in terms of watts than the rest of the United States put together. Why is that? Why is there so much solar here in the US, and what's wrong with the rest of the country that they're not ahead of us? Because California only has 13% of the population versus 87%, but we're more than 50%. it's out of balance. Why?
Probably looking at the past 60 years or so of where so many innovations have come out of a place like Stanford Research Institute. California has been a really great leader in innovative ideas, and not just in economics. It's a creative powerhouse. And I think that there is just a zeitgeist here that people are interested in moving culture, society, technology. It's just in the DNA of this state. And in many trends around the world, if you look back, have started in California, or whether it's film and entertainment or technology, going back to Silicon Valley, California is a catalyst.
Great. What do you think of the mandates at Google and Apple to have 100% renewable energy, and have these similar mandates at the city level of San Francisco and San Jose and possibly Palo Alto, that they want to move towards 100% renewable energy for their city municipal power companies and for their operations? What do you think of that, and is that the kind of thing that's likely to catch on and spread?
I admire it. I don't know whether it's when it's achievable. I mean, given that you have the doubling with solar power, whether a city can make the full transition, whether it's in 2 years or 4 years. So it feels very aspirational. But I've lived in other municipalities, and knowing some of their structures, I'm not sure if they will adopt this quickly. That's just a personal view. So I may be not as bullish in terms of the speed of a public municipality and its adoption.
And are there any countries that are that impress you with their policy and their technology implementation of solar and clean energy? Anything that jumps out at you as being worthy of further diving in and looking at it and analyzing and seeing what they're doing right?
Probably Scandinavia, with what they do with the education system, where they have very strong environmental technology programs, and they put things into practice in many of the cities there. Israel has some there's always been interesting technology coming out, and how it's adopted outside of academia and the labs.
Great. What is the impact of batteries going to be? So Elon Musk announced the Power Pack and the Power Wall, and supposedly sold out his first 2 years of battery offerings, manufacturing capability, maybe even more, $800+ million worth of orders. What does that tell you? What did you take away from that?
Even if the battery packs are still more expensive than what you're having to put out or put in to get out, it shows that there's a great demand and that there is interest in this area, even if it's not fully optimized.
Okay. And how about space? Is there anything that you've learned from space ventures and people investing in commercial space that can be applied towards clean energy? What does space do right that clean energy could learn from?
Well, the benefits from space come sometimes asymmetrically, but we yield many, many times what we put in, what we get out when we do get those returns. So it's not necessarily huge amounts of patience, but it's somewhere in between, maybe a little bit longer than the typical venture investment, but they don't have to wait decades. But you can have things that will give us a return on investment, and as I like to say, return on imagination and inspiration that's much longer than sometimes our lives.
Great. Well, happy birthday, Robert. Thank you for being on our podcast. And this has been the Energy for Good podcast with Alex Lightman and our guest, Robert Jacobson. We're here in Santa Monica, and we look forward to presenting to you on our next show. Thank you.